Originally, Cambodians were recycling bullets that they found literally with their hands in the fields. So after the last conflict in the mid-90s, there was a lot of ammunition, UXOs still in the fields, but when things had calmed down, the first thing people needed to do was start rice farming, agriculture. So they were using all of this scrap metal, which was quite dangerous, but making things like cowbells and rice sides and just farming tools. And the way that it transformed to bullet jewellery was because of a lady working on the refugee camps who'd seen the countryside people recycling this scrap metal, and she came from a design background like me and decided there might be a more positive use for that recycling process. So she started to design jewellery, and people from the refugee camps heard about all of that and just came and found her and said, please teach me, I want to use this skill, you know, I want to help you. And that was 25 years ago now. So I think there's around 10 bullet jewellery companies in Cambodia. So countless, I think, second generation bullet jewellers now from those early days. Like if this is that way, the loop is like that. It's just one piece. My name's Madeline Green. I'm a British jewellery designer from Oxfordshire, and I've been in Cambodia for about 8 years so far. Actually just came here as a backpacker on holiday. So one of the things that really fascinates me here is the Cambodian method of soldering, which is using a empty fire extinguisher, which has been recycled and filled with petrol, attached to a foot pump bellow, which provides the oxygen combined with the petrol to create our soldering flame. Bullets are such a horrible negative metal, but Cambodians are masters at recycling. I love the fact that they'll pick up anything on the street and turn it into something useful. And bullets are no exception to that, really. But actually the process of melting a bullet down to make it into jewellery is really arduous and long. You've got to get things to a really high temperature. It's a lot of physical work as well, particularly with the traditional blow torches that we use here. And it's a lot of blood, sweat and tears to get it from a rough metal into a polished piece. So for us, everything's quite handmade as opposed to all machine-made. Usually you have to be extremely still and composed when you're soldering something tiny, but when you've got to pump with your foot, your whole body is shaking. And I just had to laugh every day at myself for months on end until I finally got it. As a British jeweller, I was quite shocked at the working conditions of a standard Cambodian jeweller. Especially in the markets, you see really talented goldsmiths in very toxic environments. You know, strip lights, chemical fumes, no ventilation, electric, wires everywhere. Very small confined spaces, but for me that's not how I was taught. So I guess what might make Ammo different is that we've got a really safe working environment, which was number one for my jewellers. So I think from that perspective, it's making sure they are safe and nurtured here. That's really important to me. I think Cambodia is a country of rebirth, regrowth at the moment. Obviously, I don't want to speak for the Cambodians, but from an outsider looking in, I see a really highly energised young population, and they want to move on from the past. Their parents were very damaged by what happened here, and often it's had quite a negative impact on their early upbringing. But when they get the chance to transform the bullets here into something jewellery and earn a living, I think for me the symbolism that something positive can come from something destructive, and hopefully that empowers them a little bit. That's kind of what the bullets to jewellery means for us at Ammo. This is an extraordinary place. In fact, before I came to Cambodia, I'd given up being a jeweller. I'd almost got like a writer's block in England. Just didn't really feel creative there. After many years of being a jeweller in England, I got to a point where I just didn't feel it inside myself. But as soon as I got to Cambodia, everything started coming back again. I think I'm a changed person here. The reason I stay in Cambodia is because you get a sense of community here, and I wish the rest of the world behaved that way. I think Cambodians think of everybody as part of a larger family, and so it's easy to get motivated to do something new when you get up in the morning, because there's always people out there willing to give something a try. So it's like a can-do attitude, which I think sometimes in the West is a little bit lacking, especially with young people. But here I think it's something that I love is the positive attitude. So yeah, this is where I'm meant to be.